Hello, my name is Alex. I'm from Love of Your Show. I run an Instagram page and a YouTube. And I just wanted to say thanks for joining me for the interview.
Most welcome. Thanks for having me.
So, how's your day going? Looks like you're comfy.
I am barely just waking up. We're on the way to Roseville, California today. We're going to play tonight at a place called Goldfield Trading Post. And
Okay.
San Francisco yesterday was really good. And as you can tell, our daily routine is quite crooked compared to normal life. We're going to bed very late and then waking up late and sleeping pretty shitty in this vehicle. So the day usually just begins around like noon and then goes on until 3 a.m. We're usually in bed earliest basically. So that's touring life.
Sounds exciting and a little exhausting, honestly.
Yeah, it is. James.
So, I know that album came out last year. How do you feel that it's out and you're playing the songs now on your tour?
Sorry, what's that?
How do you feel now that the album is out? I know it came out last year, but how do you feel about touring with the new album?
Well, it's great to finally play those tracks. We got a little bored with the Fenris Luke 2 material that we've been touring with a lot, so it feels great to play fresh stuff now. Although, yeah, the album has been written in 2020 and it only came out last year, but for us, it's not really new material either. It's just been in the works for so long. But playing it live is new and still feels fresh. And it was a bit of a challenge at first because it's very different. It's more mellow. We're only playing the first 5 tracks of the record live so far. So it's a mixed set list of new and old stuff. But like those first 5 tracks are quite a journey. And we tried mixing it with older stuff first and it wasn't really working out. So now we've put them at the beginning of the set and just embraced the fact that it's a slow journey. And now we really like it. It's an amazing challenge somehow, to get yourself in the mood for that. And now it works really, really well. But we had to learn it first because it's different. It's a different game compared to the previous
Right.
2 records. So we had to just adjust to that and learn how to do that properly.
So, how did you feel when you played those new tracks for the first time in front of a live audience?
It always sucks. Make no mistake about that. It's like no matter how well you're rehearsed, you won't know how something goes down until you actually do it to an audience. And it just takes some time until you get there. And I'm not talking playing wise. I don't know, it's something weirdly metaphysical. Like you just have to do it over and over again and see how people react and also how you feel with that in order to get it to the point where you feel comfortable with it. So the first couple of shows were where we played this new material was on the tour we did with This Will Destroy You in Europe in October last year. And like I said, it sucked in the beginning. We didn't really feel it from the beginning, but it took only a couple of days, and then we were like, okay, we made some adjustments to the set, and that really helped. And then once we put all those new tracks at the beginning and just kind of build the set in a way that it's really building up in intensity towards the end, that's when we started really liking it and really feeling it, and then it started becoming fun to play those tracks. But yeah, it's always a journey to get there.
For sure. What is your favorite song to play live off of the 5 track that you do play live?
Off the last record, you mean, or
Yes.
um, hard to say. Like I said, the whole thing is kind of like one piece. We like those first 5 tracks for me. They belong together. They were written together in one chronological sequence, although it's separate tracks, and they're meant to be played like that. So to take out one piece and say this is my favorite is not even really possible. I mean, if I had to do that, I would say Atlantic track 4. It's just such a nice build up when it explodes at the end, and it's kind of like the first real heavy moment of the album. That's always like super rewarding to play. That like everyone's waiting for that heavy riff to kick in, and you finally get there. That's awesome. But I also really enjoy playing Sea of Reeds, third track. Which is very calm and quiet, but rhythmically very intricate. And yeah, like once we had the dynamics of that song right, and also all the sound styles, the clean guitar tones, it just started sounding and feeling amazing to play that track, and we really enjoyed every night. It's the quietest song in the track, but probably the one we all enjoy the most, I think, to some degree.
Well, that's cool. I kind of like songs like that where, it kind of starts all, calm and everything, and the metal riff hits. They're like, okay, here it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's that buildup of intensity is just something that is super rewarding, both for you in the audience as well as for us as musicians. And I've always loved bands that manage to do that live, to go seamlessly from very quiet, clean stuff into like super heavy, abrasive stuff. And that worked really well with this new album, especially these first 5 tracks in a sequence.
For sure. Is there anything you wish you would have done differently with the album if you could like go back in time?
To be honest, it's probably the first time I will say that no, which makes me very happy. But it's also that the album is still fairly fresh, so maybe something will still come up. But for now, I'm very happy with pretty much every aspect of it. The production is flawless, I think, and we've been chasing the sound of this record for such a long time. Like we had a rather precise idea of it, but we just didn't know how to get there. And also we wanted to have mix this album, and we got test mixes done by a bunch of people that weren't really good. And so at one point we felt like we're chasing ghosts, like this, what we're looking for just doesn't exist. But eventually our old friend and ally Karl Daniel Lidén came around with a test mix that was like, okay, finally, this is it. So so we chose him to mix the record, and it was a great choice. And like I said, production is just exactly how I wanted it to be. So there's nothing I would want to do different on that. And the artwork has been in the making for like over a year, and we also completely overhauled the initial drafts that we had, and that was a good thing that we did, because it was too similar to previous Ocean stuff. We wanted this album to be something radical and something more modern, without feeling like at all like a prog metal record, something very like visually very iconic and simple, and at the same time modern, without feeling prog. So that was the challenge, and I'm very happy with the packaging. And now that we have the vinyl box sets in our hands, they just look amazing. So no regrets really, I have to say. And musically, it's the same. We haven't played all the tracks on the record yet, so the last 3 tracks we haven't even started playing yet. So I can't talk about these. Sometimes you realize that something works great in the studio, but then when you try to play it live, it just doesn't translate the same way. But with the tracks that we have been playing, that's not the case. It works great. So it's maybe also a matter of growing up and writing more maturely. Won't have these moments afterwards where you're like, oh, I should have done that differently. Everything's been very well thought through, and by the time we recorded, it was more than just demos. Like every detail was like really fleshed out and tested, and had been for a long time. So that's probably why there's no regrets now, and why we just feel comfortable with how we've done it, I think. Yeah.
For sure, and I really like the artwork of the album. It's very different. It's almost like it's simple, but it's like the optical illusion, so it's like intriguing as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was the idea somehow. And yeah, we wanted to pick up the circular theme that was already present on the Phanerozoic records, but in a different way, still alluding to a great theme of eternal recurrence that was kind of like the backbone of Phanerozoic 2, but at the same time taking it away and like putting it into a different context. And this was a collaboration between our old friend Martin Quam, did the album artworks for the previous 4 records, and
Mhm.
a new friend, a German guy, Stefan Alt, whom I know through the collaboration on the Lustmord tribute album that we've released via Pelagic last year. And they're very different, very different artists in their approach, but somehow they really clicked. And I had a feeling that this could work like that, and it was a really nice collaboration where Martin basically provided the illustrations and Stefan was taking care more of like the layout, the typography. And that most of the time that doesn't work because every artist has their own ideas of how to do things. But in this case, it worked out super well, and they were just complimenting one another, and they were both happy. Uh,
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think everything worked out with the album, and it looks great. So, but I would like to ask, how is your US tour going so far? I know you played a few shows already, and still got a few more to go.
it's been super good. We're currently on the West Coast. We just made our way down to the Pacific Northwest. Seattle was out of control. It's personally my favorite show of the tour. It's really good crowd, and I like that venue. I've seen a lot of shows there myself at El Corazon, like the Roses in 2006, and I used to live in Seattle for a month or two. And we've played there in 2011, I think, with Between the Burn and Me. So it was great to be back there and headline and have the almost sold out shows. That was my favorite show so far. But it's been great everywhere on the East Coast too. Baltimore, New York, Boston, Montreal, Toronto, all super good shows. Chicago was amazing. And we didn't really know what to expect from this tour because we haven't been headlining here in such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
If I get tossed around here like laundry in a washer, that's because of bandwagon. That's how it feels to drive the bandwagon.
No problem.
We didn't really know what to expect from this because the last time we had like the States was in 2014 back then.
Mhm.
And we didn't come back until 2022. The tour we did with Leprous, and then later in the year with Catatonia. Those were good tours, but they were not ours. So we had no idea how this was going to go. And it's been going super well, like much better than we expected. Selling shit some merch, turnouts have been good. And we kind of learned also how to tour the US. You know, it's not so easy for a band from overseas because everything is different here. Distances are much larger than in Europe. All of our deals usually come with accommodation provided by the promoters. So you will get hotels where, like hostels or whatever. And here you're basically on your own. So
Mhm.
that's why we've been like doing this in a bandwagon. We used to do it in a van and just sleep on people's floors. We don't want to do that anymore. And it's bumpy and it's rough sometimes, but you do have place to lay down and to sleep on long drives, so that's great. And we've built a network of good people across the continent where we can stay and shower and to feed us and take care of us somehow. And it's become very rewarding to tour here, and the crowds are just great, and people are very much into what we do. I think half of our fans on Spotify are actually Americans. We have a pretty solid size audience here. And
Hmm.
everyone's been waiting for us to headline, and now we're finally doing a 90-minute set, which at first we were all like, shit, this is crazy long. And we were like, okay, let's only do that on exceptional shows. We've been doing it almost every night on this tour. I think there was one night when we didn't do it. So that tells you that it feels right, and it's been a very good tour.
Yeah, for sure. What are you looking forward to the most on this tour? Is there anything like super exciting or anything you're looking forward to? Besides seeing all your awesome fans, of course.
So show wise, I think we've already had the ones that I've been looking forward to the most. But there's still LA coming up. I'm really looking forward to that one, and Atlanta as well. Those have always been like strongholds for us. Um, and apart from shows, like I mentioned previously, we have like these kind of places that are almost like oases the um, in the tour desert, um, where we're always staying over and really looking forward to that. So we have this friend in Idaho that we stayed with a couple of days ago. He has this amazing place in the wilderness with a huge house, and he always takes us out on hikes to Forge. And that was a super nice off day. So that already lies behind us. But we have another guy in El Paso who has this house in the desert, and it's also always just like such a good day. You know, him and his wife make like huge Mexican food for us, and they have like an outdoor pool, and it's just like a super nice place to chill for a day. And we always have an off day between Phoenix and Texas usually, so we always pass through El Paso anyways. And yeah, we're doing that on the last three tours already. It's always a highlight for all. Yeah. When do we finally get to El Paso?
I mean, that sounds really nice. A big house, some really good food, and a pool. There's not much else you can really ask for, honestly.
It's all you need on tour, exactly. And then some good sleep, and just everyone, you know, having a bed to lay down for a couple of hours and then hang out by the pool and drink tequila and eat Mexican food. As good as life can get.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you kind of spoke a little bit on this, but if you could pick like three things, what would be the three things that you cannot live without on tour?
Hey, first, I have to say my sleeping pills. Sounds like I'm a junkie, but yeah, I only use them when I really need them. But I do need them. I have very light sleep, and conditions on tour are extremely like not in favor with sleep for many reasons. You have other people snoring in the bus. You get thrown around because that bandwagon is bumpy as fuck. And yeah, so it's hard for me to find rest really, even if I lay down. So I need my sleep. It's simply very important. Otherwise, I wouldn't function. And
True.
then good food is extremely important. You usually only eat once per day because you get up around noon, then it's load in time, and then I usually go for coffee somewhere and work a bit, my laptop, sound check, and then you eat in the evenings. You only have one meal per day, so by the time you eat, you're very fucking hungry. And then if you don't have good food around, um, it gets frustrating. You know, everybody needs that, and it improves the mood of everyone in the tour party so much uh, if there's yeah if they're well fed. So we started this program with fans that we call Feed and Greet. It's basically what you think it is. So people bring us food and drinks to the show. We hang out with them, let them watch sound check, and sign the records and take pictures with them and whatnot. So yeah, we started doing that already a couple of tours ago, and it worked amazingly well here in the States. It's just a really nice way to socialize and meet nice people, and at the same time get what we need. Because again, here it's not like in Europe where we have catering provided by the promoters. It's usually just a buyout, and even if that were enough, then you still need to go somewhere. And often when you play some suburbs, it's not that there's anything like within walking distance around. So it's just very convenient to have people doing this to us to the bus. And we've been living like kings on this tour. People have been bringing us sushi and pizza and home cooked Mexican food and like baked pies and cookies and we have everything. So the bus, like the fridge is constantly stuffed with food, and David is operating and managing a list where people can sign up and tell us what they're intending to bring, because we have to direct it a bit. Otherwise, we end up like with 25 bottles of gin, that we're not going to, that even us are not going to be able to drink within the next 30 days. So we have to kind of like steer it a bit and direct it and ask people what we really need. And sometimes it's things like just cutlery and plates where water, or cereals where honey for the week's throat. And sometimes it's just meals and booze, of course. So yeah, our system is really good, and it's a really fun program, and our fans seem to really enjoy that, and they get to see a bit what life is like, in the bandwagon and sound checking and everything. Yeah, food was number 2. What's number 3? Sleep, food, and well, let's say my headphones are very important to me. You spend a lot of time laying in your bunk listening to music, and without my AirPods, that would be frustrating and boring. So I will put those on the list.
For sure. Yeah, the feed and greet I saw on your website, like that's a really interesting idea. Are there any like fun or crazy stories that happened during those that you could share?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that. Say that again, please.
Is there any like funny or crazy stories that have happened at your feed and greets?
Oh, every day. It's just, yeah, you get to meet fun people, and some are very creative. And like, there's this guy who always comes to our Phoenix show, brings a barrel of homemade mojitos, like literally a barrel. And so this guy we always have on the bus with us. It's just awesome to hang out with those guys. There's another guy who makes tamale and like really brings the steamer into the bus, and like we've had so many good times just hanging out with people and cherishing their crazy ideas, but it's also only like an hour of the day or half an hour of the day. So it's not too many crazy stories attached to that.
Well, it definitely sounds like you guys are at least getting a lot of awesome food. I'm a little jealous.
Exactly.
And then I also did want to ask, on the previous album, I noticed that the song was also the name, or the last song on the last album is the name of this album. Is there like a link between those two?
Yes, there is. So this latest record was kind of an unwanted child of the pandemic. It was something that we were planning to make. It's something that just happened when our synth guy, Peter, sadly not on tour with us right now. He's not well mentally, but he was working on these ideas that later became Holocene, mostly synth ideas. And he sent me that, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I felt like I wanted to do something with it, and then I added guitars and drums to it, and then they became Ocean Songs, and this is what became Holocene. So that was a record that we hadn't really planned for. And when we had it done, we felt that it connected very well with the end of Federal Zoic 2, because like the track Holocene is also already quite electronic and going in this, like indicating, in this direction that the album Holocene ventured into further. And so it kind of made sense to connect the two albums conceptually as well. And that's why we took that last track Holocene and made that the title of the new record, and went kind of like further into detail. There's the Holocene epoch is divided into what they call 5 climatic ages, and that is like the track titles: Pre-Boreal, Boreal, Subboreal, etc. Those are the climatic ages within the Holocene period. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's going deeper into the Holocene, which is the latest period in Earth's history, basically. But we use it more as synonymous with just the modern age. Holocene is a record that big. That is a record dealing with all different kinds of weird shit that was going on around that time, from the bizarre conspiracy theories that flared up to every track on the record kind of really has its own agenda. So it's a very post-modern record, dealing with diversity and the multitude of opinions and theories out there from different angles. But yeah, like I said, we just use it as a synonym for the modern age, if you want. So it is a direct continuation of Federal 2, but it was not something that we had planned for. It kind of happened because Peter just wrote these tracks, which were never meant to become ocean tracks, and then it did. And then we're like, okay, so we need to add another chapter to this record. And in the meantime, I had already written my own record at the same time without Peter. And that one has been on hold since then, but it was written around the same time. It's in demo stage. And I'm quite excited to start working on that hopefully towards the end of this year now, because we've just been kind of touring nonstop since the end of the pandemic. The first tour that was possible was our US tour here with Leprous in 2022. And that was at a time when Europe was still completely shut down. So since then, we've been just touring all relentlessly, so we haven't had time to work on that second record. And recording, just like writing for me is something that's very quick. Recording and fleshing out the artwork and writing lyrics, that's what takes a lot of time, and that's why we kind of put this second album on pause. But now I'm itching to continue and to get back into the zone.
Yeah, for sure. And I do have just one last question for you. Is there any message that you'd like to give your current fans, new fans, any fans that are going to see you on tour? Just any final thoughts, comments, concerns to them?
Thank you all so much for supporting us throughout all these years. I mean, it's amazing to talk at shows to people who have seen us, like with Precambrian in 2008. It was our first American tour we did back then, and every night some people are coming up that know us back from those days. That's amazing. But a lot of people are also new to the party and only discovered us with Phanerozoic 2, let's say. It's just, for us, it's just really nice to see how this has grown and what a nice community has formed around this band of incredibly supportive people that bring us food, buy our merch, and are just very excited and enthusiastic about our albums and the conceptual side of it, the musical side of it, everything. So yeah, thanks to all you guys for being there. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. And I know I'm shaking in my bunk here, but we fucking love what we do. And can't wait for the next couple shows.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time to interview with me, and good luck with the rest of your tour, and hopefully it's not too shaky for you.
I will survive. Thank you.
No problem. Have a good day.
All right. Take care. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.